I've said before, and I'll say it again here today, with each new tragedy that occurs, those who stand in the way of legislation that addresses our country's gun violence epidemic are increasingly culpable for its continuation. Most of you, particularly those that are the presenters, will remember the Secretary of Health at one point, or the Surgeon General, was a man named Richard Hastings. And this was in 1998 that he said that America has a gun violence epidemic. They ran him out of town just for that expression. At the end of the day, this epidemic of violence doesn't harm Democrats or Republicans, but all Americans. And we must continue our work to bring as close as humanly possible an end to such violence. And I applaud and appreciate the work you all have done and continue to do in seeking to end gun violence in America, and I look forward to our conversation.
I think the good news is that there actually are policies that we know do work to reduce gun violence. Top among them is requiring background checks on all gun sales. There are a couple pieces of legislation that are pending in both houses right now that would accomplish that. And we have seen, this is one of those circumstances where good policy does in many ways match with good politics. We've seen 6 states since Sandy Hook shooting that have passed background check legislation. That brings the total to 18 now. That's nearly half the population of nearly half the country that now requires background checks on all gun sales. And we are coming into 2016 with initiatives in Nevada and in Maine that will be on the ballot this year that will hopefully bring that number up to 20 states.
We know that one of the techniques that we often see from the other side of this issue is using the appropriations process to hamstring what ATF is able to do, how it's able to exercise its authority, how it's able to enforce the current laws. I think that it's really important for members to be very vigilant about looking for and being aware of any new appropriations riders that may be coming with respect to ATF or FBI. In addition, part of the President's actions did involve a few new funding requests, and so when the President's budget comes out, looking for the extra $500 million for mental health services, as well as additional funding for 200 new ATF agents and investigators. And so those are items that, as the budget process begins and starts working through, it'll be really important for those items to be protected. We need to make sure that we have the strongest, most comprehensive enforcement of the laws we do have, and we know that we can do better there. And we need to close the loopholes that are helping guns flood vulnerable communities and then are helping guns end up in the wrong hands. And doing one is not mutually exclusive of the other, and we need to have a comprehensive approach to this problem.
We all see all the polls, about 90% of people support background check, which is great, and 80% support licensing handgun purchasers. But when you ask people, do you think these laws will really save lives? We don't find that a majority believe that. People will say they support it, but they don't believe that there's anything we could do. I believe that the most important thing we could do is educate the public that there are measures that work. The data that Liz talked about how there is less domestic violence in states that have background checks, people don't know that. I don't think people are going to go to the barricades and demand that their members do something until they know that. If we let people know that when Connecticut enacted a handgun purchase license law, gun deaths went down by 40%, they'll stand up and take notice. And when Missouri repealed it, gun deaths went up by 25%. These are the kind of information people don't know right now. And we at Faith United to Prevent Gun Violence are doing everything we can to get that out there, because I believe from a political standpoint in these swing districts, the person who may say to a pollster, yes, I support a background check, is not going to demand that their member do something about it if they don't think it's going to work.
You look at stand your ground laws. The gun lobby went state by state and passed 22 of those laws between 2005 and 2011. Once the shooting of Trayvon Martin kind of shone a spotlight on those laws, they stopped in their tracks, and not a single state has passed the same gun law since then. The gun lobby is now trying to do the same thing with guns on campus, guns in K-12 schools, permitless carry bills. They introduced those permitless carry bills in, I think it was 23 states last year, and they actually only got 21 of those. I mean, they actually only got 2 of those passed. 21 of them were complete failures. They got none of their 18 guns in K-12 schools passed. They got 1 watered down campus carry bill passed out of 18 that they introduced. This is unprecedented. They've gotten their way with this kind of thing for so long, and for the first time ever, there's people out there to say no.
One of the reasons we founded our organization was not only to strengthen our federal laws and strengthen our state laws, but was also really to create a more positive dialogue in this country about gun violence and to level the political playing field, to really give people more confidence to do what's right. And I think we have seen a lot more progress and parity on that side. And we do feel optimistic that we are starting to kind of feel like, the tides are starting to turn. And even though it might be a little anecdotal, I think everyone that works in our movement really feels that way. So thank you just for being here today and continuing to be on the offense with us and be confident and really educated about what the issues are and why stronger gun laws really do make a difference. So thank you so much.
In this room this morning are young, brilliant people who have ideas on everything that was discussed here that don't get to participate. And I would appreciate it very much if you all have a keen understanding of how much we appreciate the efforts that all of you put forward on a day-to-day basis in the respective offices that you work in. I did not know or do not know whether any of you are from any of the Republican member staffs. I mentioned earlier, anybody here from any of the staffs? That's a part of the problem.